welcome to Carla's Variety, where I upload a variety of videos that you didn't ask for. If you're new here, welcome. I've been seeing some people like subscribe, unsubscribe, but I'm gonna give you, some time to think about if you want to be here or not. Okay. But you decided to watch this video, so that's all that matters. As you can see by the title, I won the Housing Connect lottery. That is completely God. That's completely faith right there because Lord knows that I didn't have any other plans. So I needed to choose him. I've been meaning to honestly edit this video for like the longest, but I realized I never made an intro of this video. I haven't done any like updates or tours or anything like that. And I didn't even do it at the old place. I've been pretty much in this place for 6 months, so there's really no excuse. But this is not like a video to talk about how to get on the top pile of the housing lottery waitlist or anything like that. This is literally just informative of what happened with me, application wise, documentations, because once you get picked, the whole process is quick. To give a little backstory, to give a lot of backstory, there's a lot happened so soon during that time span. Previously lived with my mom and my sister, and I stayed there until I finished grad school pretty much. I graduated January 2023. You can watch this video. Hey, I finally know how to link the videos. I studied early childhood special education. I have a certification in birth to second grade. When I mean immediately. The first check I used when I transitioned from a para to a teacher, it was nothing surprising to me because I knew that that's what I wanted to do next after being finished with school. But everyone else was like, "You're moving?" Like they were just confused. I just wanted to, as much as I loved being at home or whatever, I needed to get out for a few different reasons. No one pushed me out. My mom didn't push me out. I just felt like I put in the work that I said I was going to do for school. I'm now in the career that I said I wanted to be in. Just felt like I wanted to learn what it felt like to be on my own. I went to Hunter College. Before that, I went to BMTC, so I always commuted. I never had that college getaway experience, which I don't think I would have been ready, to be honest with you. But I feel like I needed to get out and learn how to do things on my own. Now I know officially that I really don't like cooking. And people will say whatever they want. I know how to make a certain amount of things, a certain amount of ways, with a certain amount of ingredients. I personally like baking more than cooking, and I love cleaning more than any of those. And I don't care, and I don't feel less than a woman. But anyway, so I didn't spare a second. I moved out and I moved into an apartment in Flushing, Queens, which I really do like that neighborhood, honestly. It was very chill. I feel like being over there for a year, because I was just like on my like, gotta get up, gotta go to work, gotta come home. I'm not a busybody person as far as like going out. I'm more of like a stay at home person, although I love talking. Enjoyed being over there. However, my apartment, it was like It was like a basement, or I don't want to say that. It was like it was almost like the way that it was like a garage that they turned into an apartment. So my windows were high up, and I'll show you videos. So over time, I realized, okay, I really need sunlight. Like sunlight is so important to me, and I didn't realize. I appreciated that for my old bedroom. So that was one thing that's like, all right. It was very dark in the living room and in the kitchen.
You see how dark it is? Literally. It's so dark in here that I don't even want to do nothing. So then I'm sitting literally the only spot where there's light. So I made my little desk here and I'm sitting the only where it's light.
Section, which I didn't feel like I needed that much space because I came from a bedroom. Bought more things, which furniture I didn't have to have before, right? I didn't need to buy my own couch because I was living at home. I didn't need to buy my own table, dining table, whatever, pots and pans, all this stuff. I didn't like. I did a housewarming, yes, but they were things that I just accumulated into that space. I will say over time, I knew that I was not going to stay there longer than a year. I didn't want to renew my lease because a few things happened. Number one, the landlord like had a sister that had a kid that I thought she was just going to be there for the summertime. That's what they made it sound like. But then she wound up like I guess she was actually the actual owner of the place and she lived there, and so the landlord's kid or her, I don't even know. There was a bunch of kids that were always stomping and running back and forth. Why are the kids still up? I'm in bed already, getting ready for work. Why are your kids up? They were. It was just a lot, and of course, my heart goes out to children because I get it. They're loud. But there's another level of like, yo, is your kids like stomping on the floor? Like, do they just need to go outside to the playground? Like,
are they just banging pots and pans together? Like, what is happening upstairs?
and then they also made a backyard. Like, it was dirt when I moved there, and they turned it into a backyard. And so, who's playing back there? The kids. So I had to move my desk from the back room to, well, basically my bedroom, the front of the apartment. And ultimately, I just was like, I can't get work done at home. So I ended up just staying at work till like 5 p.m. and then getting home when it was like time to pretty much eat something and go to sleep and do it all over again. I again enjoyed that space and I really feel like I wish I explored more. Another thing that happened was that being in there, I moved in February, and by the summertime, I was going to camp, and I usually bring everything with me. It was just like I came back, and I made sure that the windows were like cracked, and still that wasn't enough. Like it was so like moldy and mildewy in the apartment, and I didn't see it until I like went to go grab for some jackets, and my sweaters were like disgusting. Like there was mildew on tons of jackets, tons of pants, tons of shoes, like inside of Uggs, inside of like my boots and stuff like that. It was just like whatever I didn't take with me, it was just so humid in there. So it ruined a lot of my clothes. Now, granted, I did wash the freak out of most of them. Some of them I just was like, this is trash anyway. But that was very annoying, and I'll show a clip.
This is happening to like almost all of my clothes. I don't even know what to do at this point. Like it looks worse in person. Like it's just everything's fuzzy. Like I have to like pick up all my clothes and like I don't know, take everything off the shelf and like I don't know, move it off the wall or something. Oh my gosh, like this is happening to so many of my clothes. I'm like getting sick of this place. Literally, she just came and she seen it and she was like to the clothes, whatever. She's like, oh, and she's like, really? I'm like, yes, like a lot of clothes. She's like, oh, okay.
And how my landlord's reaction, but she got me an air purifier, whatever. But I just was like, that was like the last thing. I was like, definitely can't go through another summer because it can't. Like, this place is naturally going to be, I don't want to say funky, but naturally going to be like just moist, based on how they built it, whatever. So that was like the last straw. In that time span, I was looking at apartments like on weekends and just after work. December, and I was like, yeah, definitely moving out. My lease was going to be over in February, so I was like, I'm not going to renew, but I need a have something set up or have an idea of what neighborhood I want to live in. And it just, the prices just kept going up. Now again, this like basement apartment is 1,600, but like these places that are one bedrooms are like 1,755. It was just more money, and then I still had to worry about my car and parking and transportation to get to work because I wasn't about to drive to the city. So something had to still be convenient for me to get to the train station. So that was a little annoying. I went to several different places. I even contemplating selling my car and moving to the city. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should just be closer to work. And I looked at apartments in the city and I was like, wow, like downsizing, like I know I can do it, but like I don't think I can be a whole minimalist. I got a lot of decluttering done since last year, but I still so I couldn't get down to a studio when I really think about it. Fast forward again, I said I wasn't gonna renew my lease. However, it was to the point where I was gonna have to ask my landlord if I can go another month without a lease and just pay her another month. And I said if that was the case, I would do it. And she was fine with that too, because it was like by January, I didn't have any ideas. Around that same time, I just got an email, which a Housing Connect location, I'll tell you where I live at, right? This place I actually applied for 4 years ago. God, coming back around, right? He didn't give it to me when I first was moving out because I was rushing. I was doing my own thing. But when I needed it, and I was literally like, God, please, I need somewhere to go. He's such a provider, I swear. So 4 years ago in January, I applied for this place. And of course, people just on Housing Connect Lottery, they just apply for anything. I mean, I was applying for like 7 places. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the place for sure. Everyone applied for mad places. At the time, I was still on my para budget. So I do actually recommend you, please, to keep your salary updated. And then I also included my second job, which I was a teen program coordinator that combined my salary that helped me to get different opportunities if possible. Also, that I needed to make sure that I knew my finances and took care of my stuff because I was again looking at their apartments. There's a lot happening. A lot happening. Got this email and I was like, okay, they gave me like a list of documents. I'll tell you that in a second. And they gave me a due date. Like, I need to have all this in like by 2 weeks from now. And so I just started like preparing them, whatever. Half of them was already done because I had done my taxes earlier than April with my mom because I'm forgetting and she reminds me. So thanks, mommy.
I just had my stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then at the same time, I found out I was pregnant.
It's okay.
And I was like, it went from living at home, an abundance of space, to then a 2 bedroom, and then now buying more things and bringing a lot more now with me. To think about downsizing to go to a studio, and I was about to just take anything, and I found out I was pregnant, and I was just like, oh snap. That's a whole nother story. I'll link that here about my pregnancy journey. I just kind of stopped. I kind of stopped looking at places. I knew I had my papers together. They were giving me like 48 hours. And I was like, oh God. Well, I didn't say, yo, God, but God, like, if this is a place that you want me to be at, this is the place where I can go next. Can you please provide a 1 bedroom? Please, these places nowadays are so expensive for 1 bedrooms. My lease was ending. I mentioned it to a few people at work, but I didn't tell them about this housing lottery.
None of my business.
Anyway, I remember speaking to a representative, and they said I needed whatever. When I mean they ask you, not only do they ask you about your bank statements, your checkings, your savings, which they better be up to date. They ask you about Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, any of that stuff that they see. Someone's giving you like, I think it was like $40 or more. You had to clarify what it was for. And at the time, my boyfriend, he was sending money for like, oh, go get food for yourself, whatever. There's time, like, I'm like, you didn't even write anything in memo. So there's times where I had to go back and, what did he send me? Please use the memos to those app things, please, to clarify what the freak money is being transferred. I had to pull back like 10 transactions and go to get it notarized. And then I got this call from this agent who was saying that I was approved. And I was like, okay, like, I'm not on lunch break. You better, like, what am I approved for? And they were like a studio. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and I knew that it was the Holy Spirit who was just like, you just say it. Don't settle for this. You better speak up and say something. And this was before I only told one person at work, but I was just like, again, so actually, like, I'm gonna be having a baby, so like,
Is there really only a studio?
I'm only approved approved for a studio. And she was like, well, we just don't have any more 1 bedrooms available. And I'm like, okay, so there's only a suit. Like I'm like, give me something else. Give me something else. So then she's like, oh, I can put you on the wait list. And I wrote her name down at somewhere. That got me so I was that got me so tight because she kept reiterating like, well, the wait list, that means if there is no space, then that means your application's just pretty much like withdrawn. This is like a game show, like getting all this stuff together and just being on the waiting list. And if I'm not chosen, that's it. So I was like, you know what? Okay. I literally prayed my eyes out for that, and I was just like, it's not for me to stress about. God's gonna handle it. And sure enough, I think a few days later, someone else called me back.
Oh, hi, we have you down as approved for a studio. Are you still interested so that we can give you a tour?
And I was like, no, like I talked to whatever her name was. She put me down for the wait list for 1 bedroom. Like I thought that was understood. And then she was,
no, like you're not on the list.
I was like, what do you mean I'm on the list? Did she let me? And again, this is a phone call at work. Again, when I was not on lunch. So I just had to hold my head out of the door. My kids were fine. They were lunchtime or something. They were right. I have a co in the classroom. I said, well, I explained to so and so that I'm pregnant, and she said that all I needed was a doctor's note confirming that I am pregnant. And she's like,
oh, give me 1 second.
And I just, okay.
Let me not let me not get upset that so and so said she was on the wait list and she really
Whatever. Like it was 5 minutes. Like imagine just 5 minutes of just waiting, wondering, thinking. She's like,
yeah, so I talked to my manager and like we have a 2 bedroom.
And I said,
I was just like 2 bedroom.
on the phone, like 2 bedroom? And she's like,
yeah, like if you had that note, you can just email it to me and then we can make sure that you get the tour.
I didn't even ask about how much it was. I didn't really care. I just said, yes, I'll take it. But I just like, or I had to send it in first, and then like I think 2 days later, whatever, they called me back and was just like, this is the dates that we have to view the place. Now I am a stickler for not taking days off. So I took a partial day off actually. We had to do parent teacher conference. So I took the morning off and I viewed the place, and so you because I already submitted my information and then I found out I was pregnant, like maybe a week or two later in January, my boyfriend and I were just like, yeah, we would have to go through the whole process over again if he had to then put in his income. We just went with me being the apartment owner, Nolan being the unborn child. We got a domestic partnership certification so that we can not just for that, not just for that, because some people be out here like, oh, you got married, oh, you got this, you got that. It also helps for making sure that the person that you love and the person that you care about and the person that you're living with also has insurance. It's a lot more helpful. That was a long story. So at the end of the day, I got the 2-bedroom in this area of buildings. Super thankful we have a laundry on our building on the first floor. Everybody has a garbage chute on the floor that they're on. And then we also have access to the gym. But there's also a playground too. I will say parking over here is way worse. Yes, that's a little bit annoying. And then also I will say another thing is that there's no like indoor community space, if that makes sense. You know how some places have like a game room or like a pool room or like it's because of the neighborhood. I don't know what it is, but that would be nice. I mean, of course, every building has its quirks and its plus. I am thankful to be here, and I really do encourage people who don't be having their stuff together, like their taxes. Do your taxes. Don't even do it on time. Do it early so that you have your stuff together. Don't lie about your finances. Keep your application updated. If you lost a job, if you got fired, you quit, you took on 2 more jobs, make sure that thing is updated because it's just helpful for you to like not have to do the extra stuff. They're gonna look at it anyway. And if you don't want to have to prove anything, don't even put it. If you save your money underneath the bed, like Mr. Krabs, then don't say you have a savings account because they're gonna want to know what is it, where is it, how much is it.
What? I ain't saying that.
Thank you for watching this video, and I will at some point maybe give an updated tour of this. I'm not ready yet. Okay, I'm not ready yet. I look like a mess. God dang. Anyway, it's April 1st. Yo, it's April Fools. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say hi, and I'm still moving in my stuff to the new place, and I've yet to really get it together still. There's stuff all over the place. I'm working next on my closet room of sorts. My boyfriend and I are going over there today with our things to drop off more, you know, like clothes, shoes. This one goes out to my sister. I literally said, look at the dates before you put everything in this container of like, you know, pantry food. I'm like, half of this stuff is old. I'm like, come on. She said she was gonna help me. And this girl, I said, go through everything, please, to make sure that I'm not bringing over expired food. And she didn't even look through it. Thanks, Sierra.
Yeah, this is all old. Dang, girl. I still have to. I can't. Like, technically, I still have like 2 more weeks. And I just cannot. I can't go any less than that. Like, I've tried and I can't because I'm still, like, I mean, fairly simple, yes, but there's still a huge stomach going on here. So I'm trying to cover it as much as possible at work and stuff. So there might be a day where, flannel works. There might be a day where a black shirt works. Squeezing into my stretchy pants still. And then, a hoodie that I still can fit. And then this weather in New York is like stupid. So it's just, I'm still having jackets on. All of this is going to go today. Probably this too. I'm not planning to take this white rack because this is what is encouraging me to stay with too much stuff. It is helpful, but I just rather downsize just because now that it's not going to just be me, it's going to be us. I have to be mindful of space. I don't want to keep my old hoarder tendencies. Anywho, so I got a whole bunch of boxes for my friend, so I'm still going to use those eventually for either cabinets, kitchen cabinet stuff. Gotta still stuff underneath. Everything's taken out, like pantry, and not everything up there. And, the dishes are still up here too for the rest of the week. So I still need to eat, okay, on something. And yeah, it's still looking like a disaster. These are still the things that I was gonna sell here, The boxes are kitchen appliances and gadgets. So it's moving. It's moving. It's moving slow. Shoes are going. My desk looks like a hot mess because I haven't done anything. Shoes are all going. I wear the same shoes over and over again, so you know how it goes. And then my closet is pretty much cleaned out. So I will just probably put that in a garbage bag the last day. What the, like, you literally look. Work with me. Hand soap from IKEA. I literally had to put it over in the corner because, look. Do you see how close this is? Do you see, look at this. That's, what? It don't make no sense why the soap is all the way over here. It should be closer over here, and I should be able to put something else on the counter. Like, now I have to either keep it here and make like X marks the spot, literally, or I don't know.